What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. These were two teams that were hot in the beginning, but almost let it slip away towards the end. We'll talk about that in a second. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click that subscribe button. Also, if you have any graphic design needs, Anthony Garcia is your man. His link is in the description below, www.anthonygarciadesign.com. So I'm going to start with the Cardinals for a second, because like I said, I've talked about how these teams got, almost let it slip away in the second half of the season. The Cardinals have done this in back-to-back years. You talk about a team that in both years were the number one seed in the first half of the season. And then they let it all slip away. Last year, it cost them a playoff berth. They completely missed the playoffs entirely. And you might argue that they almost did it this year. And this is when they had far better weapons, You talk about, getting J.J. Watt. You talk about when they let Patrick Peterson go, it really gave a chance for Byron Murphy to step up, which he did this year. And so, we talked about that first game against the Saints. Chandler Jones showed up. We talked about a year where he's on last year, we don't know if he's going to be extended or going to go somewhere else. Because I really thought in the beginning that this was going to be the Cardinals' year, and I thought in the beginning, man, they really showed some perseverance, even when they lost against my Packers on, Thursday Night Football. I really thought this team, was different from the year before. But, man, they started to fall apart yet again. I mean, this is what's confusing, You got Kyle Murray, He can scramble around and stand plays. He's got that strong arm. Even when they, lost, DeAndre Hopkins last few weeks. You talk about, you still had Christian Kirk, and you had A.J. Green. And I think even that Cowboys game, you started to see Antoine Wesley step it up. And so, they had that, James Conner. People have been excited to see him play this year. And like I said, that defense, like I said, is really stepped it up for the most part. So, it makes you wonder what, I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but man, sorry. Man, it just makes you wonder, what's in that psyche, and makes you wonder if they're going to psych themselves out in this game. But you look at the Rams, this was a team that was hot in the beginning of the year, even before the season started. The moment they drafted Matthew Stafford, people automatically thought that this team was going to get to the Super Bowl. Which some people doubted, really, Matthew Stafford, But honestly, he had a big year, breaking Kurt Warner's record, this year for most passing yards. And, he's got the TDs now. And, man, Cooper Kupp, man. I knew this guy was an excellent route runner. I remember when I was, studying up on wide receivers in the offseason. Man, if you go on YouTube, you see him just talking about route running through NFL film. And, I'm watching this film, I'm like, man, this guy's an excellent route runner. And when people thought that Robert Woods was going to be the number one target for Matthew Stafford, I'm like, watch out for Cooper Kupp, I remember even in fantasy, they had Robert Woods over Cooper Kupp. And I went for Cooper Kupp. I went with my gut. And man, did it pay off dividends for me in fantasy this year. He's talking about him in the category of Megatron Calvin Johnson, which Matthew Stafford was also a part of, and so, but like I said, they let some games go this year, just like similar to the Cardinals, they let some games go down the stretch, and, you talk about the way they let things go in that 49ers game. They had that game decided when they were up 17-0 towards the end of the first half. and then it was all gone from there. That defense, which I've always said has been overrated. I know that's a hard thing to swallow, but outside of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, I know they've added some players like Von Miller through a trade, but I always thought this defense was overrated. And I think that this defense was really exposed, in that 49er game. And so, I think what's really going to hurt them is Matthew Stafford's mistake. Talking about Minnesota against the Ravens, and then, them taking through against the 49ers in overtime. He's been making a bad habit now of throwing picks. He's got double-digit picks this year. Honestly, when I saw that pick in overtime, I'm a Packers fan, and I'm like, that's something Brett Favre would do. And now that it's playoff time now, I'm wondering, man, is he going to do the same thing yet again? And so, you got the Cardinals and the Rams, and, like I said, both teams suffered a loss from a divisional rival, Like I said, the 49ers are a great team. They also a great team in a tough matchup. And then the Cardinals, like Russell Wilson, who might be playing in his last game in the Seattle Seahawks uniform, let them score 38 points against them. So they're not coming in hot per se. So I'm wondering, who's going to win? Because I feel like both these teams have got bad luck on their side. And so, honestly, I keep thinking back to Matthew Stafford and his picks. And I'm feeling, like I said, Brett Favre, he threw those picks, in clutch situations. Talking about in the NFC championship game in 2007 against the Giants. And then 2 years later in 2009, in overtime against the Saints, getting picked off by Tracy Porter. I just had that vibe from Matthew Stafford that he's going to throw a pick in a crucial situation, and the Cardinals are finally going to get over that hump. They're finally going to find some confidence in their win against the Los Angeles Rams, which would be a huge disappointment for a lot of people, like I said, that thought the Rams were going to get all the way to the Super Bowl. But I think this is going to be I'm trying to think of the final score here. Let's go. A lot of my games have been within 3 points. Let's go 34-31, the final score. Arizona Cardinals, upsetting the Los Angeles Rams. I still think this is an upset because I said the expectations on the Rams, and even though they've won the division. So, yeah, that has been my prediction for the Cardinals and the Rams. That means I am done with my wild card predictions. And so, hopefully, everything has turned out up to this point. I can't wait to see what happens in the divisional round. I can't wait to see who faces my Packers. I can't wait to see who faces Tennessee. And, I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and have a good day, everybody.